Welcome to Game Day with Hick the Stick for week 7 of the college football season. Number 5, North Carolina got beat by Florida State last week. Tennessee, did they even show up? Because they got destroyed against Kentucky. Alabama stays undefeated and beats Georgia. And then Notre Dame, number 4 in the nation, almost lost to Louisville, but was able to hold on and get the win. It just shows us that this season, anybody can lose to anybody. You're not safe. It doesn't matter how good you are. You can lose. Unless you're Clemson, I really don't think they can lose. But everybody else, watch out. But this week, the return of the Big Ten. Well, last week I went 6-3, making my total predictions for this year 39-13. And this week, I get to pick some Big Ten games and predict those games. So let's get started.
First up, we have Nebraska versus the Ohio State Buckeyes.
The Buckeyes take the field for the first time this season with their quarterback, Justin Fields, against Nebraska. And I know my sister-in-law is super excited, and a lot of my friends are Buckeye fans, and they are excited to finally see their team take the field. But Nebraska, they've been trying to come back year after year, but they keep kind of getting better and getting better. Let's see what they do this season, but it's not going to start this week against Ohio State. They've been waiting months. They've been waiting longer than they were expecting to play their first game. Ohio State will come onto the field ready to play, and I really do not see this as a close game. The Buckeyes get the win over Nebraska.
Second, we have Indiana versus Penn State.
Penn State against Indiana. Penn State, they've been getting close every year to making the postseason, but they just fall short every year. They lose a game that they really need to win. Is this the season they finally can win those games that they need to win to get into the playoffs? Is Penn State for real this year? Well, they'll need to show up this week and play Indiana to show us if they are a good team and could have that chance to play in the college football playoffs again this year. Penn State gets the win over Indiana.
Now we have North Carolina State versus...
North Carolina was undefeated last week. They were number 5 in the nation, but then they played Florida State, and it was not a pretty first half for North Carolina. They went to halftime losing 31-7, but then they came back in the second half and actually made it a close game. Even had a chance to maybe take it to overtime or even maybe win the game, but they did not, and they got their first loss of the season. Now they're playing North Carolina State, who also only has 1 loss. This should be a close game, but I really don't think it will be a close game. I think Sam Howell will bring North Carolina back into this game. They're going to bounce back from the loss last week, come into this game, and get a big win and get back on the win column. North Carolina gets the win over North Carolina State.
Now we have Iowa State versus Oklahoma State University.
We got Iowa State. We got Oklahoma State. The 2 best teams in the Big 12. And it also is a top 25 matchup. There are only 3 teams in the Big 12 that still have a chance to make the college football playoffs. And that is Oklahoma State, Iowa State, and Kansas State. These 2 teams are playing each other this week, and they really need to win if they want to make the college football playoffs. Oklahoma State, the only undefeated team still in the Big 12. A lot of people thought it'd be Texas and Oklahoma, the 2 best teams in the Big 12, but it's not. It's a crazy year, and this is who we got. So, Oklahoma State, Iowa State, a top 25 matchup. It's going to come down to the end, maybe a fourth quarter battle, a shootout. Who gets the win? The Cowboys get the win over Iowa State, and they keep their undefeated season alive. Now it's time for my quick picks of the week. I'm going to make 3 quick picks really quick. Our first game is Syracuse versus Clemson. Clemson gets the win. Then we got Tennessee versus Alabama. Alabama gets the win. And our last game, we got Pittsburgh versus Notre Dame. Notre Dame gets the win over Pittsburgh. That's my quick picks of the week.
Michigan versus Minnesota.
We got Michigan versus Minnesota. It's a Big Ten matchup and also is a top 25 matchup. These two teams want to be the team to win the Big Ten. I really think there are 4 teams that are capable of taking home the Big Ten championship. And these 2 teams are one of them. Michigan finally wants to beat Ohio State. Is this their year that they beat Ohio State, have an undefeated season, or only lose 1 game, and make the playoffs? And then Minnesota, they had a good season last year. They were rowing that boat, but they just fell short of making the playoffs. Is this the year? Will they be able to come back this season and finally make the playoffs? Well, it starts this week. Only 1 team can win. Who gets the W and who gets the win? Minnesota gets the win over Michigan and starts the season off 1-0.
Hick the Sticks. Game of the week is Cincinnati versus SMU.
My game of the week, we got number 9 Cincinnati versus number 16 SMU. We got Shane Buechele versus Desmond Ridder. These 2 quarterbacks and their teams are good teams, and it's going to be a fun matchup to watch. It's a top 25 matchup. These 2 non-Power 5 teams are 2 of the best non-Power 5 teams. And it's going to be a battle to the end. It's going to be a close one. It might even go to overtime. And that's why this game is my game of the week. But who gets the win in this top 25 matchup? Cincinnati gets the win over SMU, but it's going to be a close one. Well, that's all I got here on Game Day with Hick the Stick. I hope you enjoyed my show. Remember, if I get 250 subscribers, I will buzz cut my hair down to a number 1. So make sure you subscribe. Well, I hope you have a great college football Saturday.